Hello, everybody. Hello, YouTube. It is Tanner and Chrissy from Common Sense Education reporting in once again, as we do every Tuesday here on the Common Sense Education channel, with interesting learning tools and media for your classroom. Chrissy, what do you have to discuss today?
Today, Tanner, I have Creatability as part of the Collections with Experiments with Google. So if you go to that web address, it'll take you to a glorious place of free tools and experiments, as they call them. And within that collection, there is Creatability. So let me first, I'm going to go to our review so you can check out what we have here. We gave it 4 stars. It covers K-12 and it's totally free. Here's the situation. It is basically a series of tools, creative tools, mostly focused on drawing and music. They are extremely accessible to all different abilities of all kinds. And so as I scroll down, you can see that there are a variety of experiments that kids can explore. Some are motion tracking, there's the body synth, the sound canvas, the keyboard. So, for instance, the keyboard, you can play with your face, body, mouse, or keys. So, there are so many different ways to interact with these tools. There's a tutorial, or you can just jump right in and just start playing. There are a lot of different sounds kids can explore. And what I really like about this tool is, firstly, it's super open ended. There are just tons of things that you could think of to do in the classroom with this tool, even if your class has nothing to do with music and art. I think there are a lot of angles from which you could come at a tool like this. And it also applies to different grade levels. So you could see little kids just kind of jumping in and playing around. But over here, if there are kids who have a little bit more experience with music, a little bit more of a background, you can change the scale from pentatonic to major to minor, the root note, etc. So you can get a little bit more technical as well.
And
So
a
yeah, go
lot of
ahead.
them incorporate camera tracking, right? So if you have a
Yes,
camera in the classroom on your device, like that one, you can use the keys, but you can also use your body to move around and hit the keys, right? So it's probably
that's
a
right.
good way to burn off energy or kind of switch up between lessons, right?
That is a really good point too. Here you can see my face as it's tracking me. Um, so there are a lot of different things that you can do and explore. Yes, it can involve getting up and actually moving. It involves creating. Um, and because there's some open source code involved, kids can actually get involved and make something, make an experiment of their own as well. So again, if you have kids who are older, who have a little bit of experience with coding, there are ways that they can, excuse me, get involved as well. And then down here, there are no actual teacher supports necessarily, but there are there's a little bit more information here at the bottom, um, where you can look through, what information they're collecting, how they're sharing it, and also, how can I build projects like this? So, if kids want to get involved with GitHub, then they can also make some tools. Um, but one thing that I imagine also is, I taught high school, and so if I let kids play around, um, and then write about their experiences, there'd be some great writing prompts I think you could come up with. You could address it from an accessibility angle. Um, there are just lots of different ways I think that you could be really creative with a free collection of cool tools that kids may not have experienced before. Maybe just to break things up and get kids excited. Maybe that's enough too, sometimes. So that is Creatability.
Do you know if they've added to the library of options in the time you've been looking at that tool? I wonder.
In the time that I have been looking, that looks like it did when we reviewed it. So I don't think
Yeah,
it has changed too much. But it's
yeah,
not the only, quote, unquote, "experiment" that they have going on that site. So there are other things that you can explore as well. But I focused
yeah.
on that one, I think, mostly because of the accessibility.
Yeah, it seems like that would pair well with a screen recording tool too, like Screencastify, so students could play around with the experiments, screen record them, and then incorporate them into other projects or presentations or narrate what they were doing. And definitely for advanced students that have really, like in maker spaces, who are getting involved in Arduino and that kind of thing, could see huge potential there in those kinds of contexts.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
was experiments.withgoogle.com. Go check that out, or you can visit commonsense.org/education for more reviews like that one. And of course, like, subscribe, watch videos, do everything humanly possible to increase our prestige in the Google ecosystem.